Hello everybody, it's Non-Scene News here, and today we've got a lot of breaking updates today. So first we're going to go to the US statements. And the biggest US statements are coming today is that apparently a lot of polls and a lot of election polls are now putting Kamala Harris ahead of Donald Trump by 2 percentage points. This comes after Joe Biden dropped out of the race. According to Reuters and the IPSOS polls, according to their data, Harris was supported by 44% of the respondents, while Trump was only supported by 42% of the respondents. So, if this is true, then that obviously makes Kamala Harris ahead of Donald Trump. But again, I don't know if this statement is true. But the FEC chairman, the top US official in charge of regulating elections at the federal level, says that the law is clear. All money Biden raised will now be refunded. He stated on Twitter, well, X. So this is very interesting because obviously when the presidential elections was happening, Joe Biden obviously had to spend a lot of money to advertise himself. Apparently, as I just said, the FEC chairman, the top official, has apparently stated that all that money that Joe Biden raised will now have to be refunded. So this might have to come out of Joe Biden's own pocket. So just very interesting news come there. Hillary Clinton, who lost to Trump in 2016, is now warning Kamala Harris about sexism and misinformation. And the US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken will leave his post if Kamala Harris wins, writes the Wall Street Journal. So I'm not sure if this is true. This is the Wall Street Journal we're talking about here. So the Wall Street Journal is saying that if Kamala Harris wins, Anthony Blinken will leave his post. So it's not 100% sure, but we'll put it down when he says it. So Joe Biden, we're going to go to the rumors that happened and what we talked about last video. So Joe Biden apparently reportedly required emergency medical care during a trip to Las Vegas last week. So this kind of fits and checks the checkbox of why he was away for so long. So COVID, and apparently he had an emergency medical care thing when he was going to a trip to Las Vegas last week. So we've gotten reports that he is alive. So you can see here in your bottom left corner, he is alive. So he was spotted going to his plane. So the US President Joe Biden declined to respond to a question about whenever his decision to drop out of the presidential race was a difficult one. So if you can see here, he just slightly smiles before walking away, so he doesn't respond to it. So, but later today, Joe Biden will announce an address for the nation at 8 p.m. ET tomorrow on what lies ahead and how he will finish the job for the American people. So we can expect a little speech from Joe Biden. So very interesting. We've also gotten a tweet coming from Donald J. Trump. So if you can see here in bottom left corner, Trump said he will meet with the Prime Minister of Israel, Netanyahu. So very interesting, and I'm pretty sure the Prime Minister of Israel will also be obviously visiting Joe Biden. But it's very interesting that all these foreign leaders are now meeting with Donald Trump as well as Joe Biden. Now we're going to go to the British Isles again. So we got on news that the British Army, this is coming from the Defence Minister, he stated that the British Army must be prepared within 3 years to potentially fight a war against a coalition of Russia, China, Iran and North Korea, according to the General Sir Rolly Walker. He warned that Putin, regardless of the outcome in Ukraine, will seek retribution against supporters of Ukraine, including the UK. So, sorry, this didn't come from the Defence Minister, this came from General Sir Rolly Walker. So, very interesting statement, and I'll keep you updated on this. We got news coming from Macron. Macron stated that he does not intend to appoint a new prime minister or change the government at least until mid-August. The president, Macron, also reaffirmed that he does not intend to resign and will remain in office until the end of his second term. So no resign and no appointment of a French prime minister. Now we're getting news from the Polish minister. Well, the Polish Defense Ministry has stated that Ukraine will not join the EU until it resolves the issue of the Volyn massacre, the head of the Polish Defense Ministry said. So this massacre, I think the Volyn massacre, I think that's how you pronounce it. So this massacre was, I'm pretty sure, a lot of Ukrainian nationalists in 1943 to 1944 ended up taking the lives of thousands or maybe tens of thousands of Polish during the Second World War. And he also added that if Ukraine does not win, then the security of Poland and Europe may be at stake. So big statements coming from the Ministry of Poland. So the next news is coming from Bulgaria. So as I said in my last video, Bulgaria may send a surplus of ammunition to Ukraine, the minister says. So it seems that they have produced a surplus of ammunition. We can probably expect Bulgaria to send a surplus of ammunition, artillery ammunition, to be more specific. Now we're going to go to the EU. So the EU has discussed the immobilization of the Russian asset to fund 50 billion loan to Ukraine. Very interesting. Earlier, the G7 countries agreed during their summit in Italy to provide at least 50 billion to Ukraine by utilizing revenue generated from the interests of the Russian 325 billion in assets frozen in the countries of the collective West. So, very interesting. The Russian President Vladimir Putin calls the asset seizure an unseemly business and warned that stealing others' assets has never brought any good to anyone. So that was quoted by Vladimir Putin. The EU has also stated the EU will begin negotiations with Armenia. So according to these negotiations are apparently very important milestone in deepening the partnership between Armenia and the EU. Very interesting. Armenia has not been shy on stating that it does want to join the EU and potentially NATO. So, and Armenia is already in a defensive pact with Russia. If you don't know, CSTO, so it's basically a NATO style defense alliance. So very interesting news. We got news from Slovakia and Romania and a bit of Hungary that Ukraine has not received electricity from Slovakia and Romania since 12 o'clock this night. So apparently electricity has stopped between Slovakia and Romania all of a sudden. So earlier, Kiev stopped the transit of the Lukoil through its territory to Hungary and Slovakia, and now it seems that Romania and Slovakia, and most probably Hungary, will join this to stop providing electricity to Ukraine, because all the electricity generators in Ukraine were blown up by Russian missiles. So, very bad thing when talking about people living in Ukraine and the head of Ukraine. So now we've got news coming from Ukraine. So Media Zona has confirmed the identities of nearly 60,000 Russian soldiers killed in Ukraine. So this source, I'm not saying that if this is true, but this is coming out of the Kiev Independence. Obviously, this is going to be pro-Ukrainian. So we don't know if this is true, but apparently nearly 60,000 Russian soldiers killed in Ukraine have their identities have been confirmed. Ukraine also confronts labor shortage as need for soldiers training the workforce. So every mobilization that passes Ukraine obviously is going to hurt the workforce in Ukraine and decrease the economy. So we've also got news from Kiev that Zelensky's calling for peace now. So he states in this little video, I'm pretty sure it's 8 seconds long, it's just a clip. He states that I'm pretty sure everyone knows that we need to end this war. So you can just watch it. It's like 8 seconds long.
I think all of us understand that we have to finish the war as soon as possible, of course, not to lose people lives.
He says, if you just saw that video, he says as soon as possible, Ukraine needs to end this war. So more news is coming from Kiev. The Parliament of Ukraine extends martial law and mobilization for another 90 days until November the 9th. And we got some news coming from Moscow and India that India and Russia signed an MOU for licensed production and supply of ammunition. So, very interesting. This just includes ammunition, like grenade ammunition, 30mm grenade ammunition, VOG 30Ds, and just some ammunition production licenses. So, very interesting. Now we've got news coming from China. So, probably the biggest news coming today is coming from China and Ukraine. So, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine arrived in China. So, the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has invited the Ukrainian Foreign Minister to visit, and the visit will last to July 23 to July 25th. So, obviously, this meeting is going to be concluding with peace talks too, and the big news today is that Kiev is now ready to negotiate with the Russian side, said in a conversation with the head of the Chinese Foreign Ministry. So this is if this is all true and checks out, this is a huge statement, and peace might be, maybe, just maybe, around the corner. So huge developments. I don't know what China said, but Kiev is ready to negotiate with the Russian side, and the Russian side is ready to negotiate with Ukraine. But Vladimir Putin has made it very clear that he does not recognize Zelensky as a legitimate president. So, Russia won't improve anything that Zelensky signs, which will cause a little conflict when talking about the negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. The next news is coming from the DPRK, so North Korea. North Korea has yet again launched another series of balloons with trash towards the Republic of Korea for the 10th time. This is reported by the authorities in Seoul, so the capital of South Korea. So more trash balloons, if you can see here, it's just a balloon with a load of trash in it, and it's being sent to South Korea. So now we're going to go to Iraq. So the big news coming from Iraq is that the Iraqi authorities have now demanded that the United States begin to evacuate American troops from the country as early as September. So a lot of African countries, and now Iraq is now stating this. So I'm pretty sure Niger demanded all United States troops to be evacuated from the country, and now Iraq, which probably does have a lot of US troops in it, because if you know, Iraq did get invaded by the US. So as early as September, we can expect the American troops being evacuated from Iraq. So we'll see how the United States responds to this. Now we've got news coming from this country in Africa. I keep butchering how to pronounce this name. I think it's Burkina Faso. The president of this country spoke about the war on decolonization. So he states we must all prepare for war of decolonization. So pretty big news, and I'll obviously keep you updated on that. And we got news coming from a Houthi attack. So I'm pretty sure this was a Ukrainian convoy ship. So it's like probably an oil tanker or something. So if you can see here, I'll probably increase the audio for the video. But you can see this Houthi boat coming towards the ship. And I won't show you the whole video because the boat does end up getting exploded with, I'm pretty sure, people on board, or it might have been unmanned. But it explodes and the attack was repelled. So I'm pretty sure this was a Ukrainian ship, or it was Russian. And now we've gotten huge news that I just gathered when releasing this video. So, in the border of Romania and Ukraine, according to information, apparently a Russian Shahed drone attacked a Romanian village near the border of Russia and Ukraine. So, we don't know if this just fell on the territory. We got reports, I'm pretty sure, probably a year ago now, that the same occasion did happen. A Russian drone or missile fell on the territory of Ukraine, of Romania. So this video apparently captures from the Ukrainian bank of this side of the river, so this exact river. So this video is filmed by the Ukrainian side of the bank, and apparently a Russian drone landed in the territory of Romania. So Romania did raise two F-16s during the Russian attack, or just the drone that fell on the Romanian territory. So the situation, the Romanian ministry reports that the ministry will investigate this and where the Russian drones may have come from. So very interesting, and that's all I believe I have for you today. So if you like what I do, I report the non-scene news, hopefully daily. So I will show the news that the medias around the world do not show you. So thank you everyone very much. On non-scene news, I'll show you the news that the medias around the world do not show you. If you like what I do, please subscribe and like, and consider donating through Super Chat or becoming a member of the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.